you suggesting people go out and steal petrol tankers?
Not people, no.
We do.
Put it in here, Google Earth will never spot it. Honestly, because if you think about it, 50,000 litres...
That's a lot.
...of fuel, OK, that would be enough to get your Mustang home.
Brilliant. Well, to Guildford.
Yeah, to Guildford.
Maybe.
We could fill up there. No, I'll tell you, it's a brilliant idea.
Well, actually, we'll do the news in a minute, because first I want to say a couple more things about that Bentley. You see, you said there it was like a slab of old England.
Yes.
But Bentley is owned by VW.
Yeah.
That car was styled by a Belgian, and it was engineered by a man called Ulrich Eichhorn. Doesn't sound very British.
Are you presenting Top Gear, or are you writing a letter to the Daily Telegraph?
Well, I'm just saying that you know immediately that that car is German because it's got too much power. They've overdone it, as usual, like they did on their French holiday in 1939.
James, the Queen is German, but
Yes.
you don't sing Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles every time she comes on the television, do you?
Well, I do, actually.
Yeah, he does. He does. The news. Now, we were sent a picture this week of a biker caught in Holland, I think it was, doing 137 kilometres an hour. And, well, here's the picture. It kind of tells its own story. There's one key thing there. He's not on it.
Interestingly, he wasn't prosecuted because he claimed he wasn't riding the bike at the time of the offence.
What did he claim he was actually doing, though?
Well, he said he was washing it and it fell over.
Yeah, and it slipped. And sort of accelerated and kept building speed.
There's a Top Gear top tip here, actually. If you're driving along, OK, see a speed camera, no chance of slowing down, leap out.
Yeah.
Don't do that if you're a coach driver.
No. Audi's bought a photocopier.
No.
Yes! No, it's
Wow.
bear with me, it's a really good one. Because what they did was put the Q7, you know, the big thing, Q's thing they've got, they put that through their new photocopier at 75% and made this the Q5, which is a whole new Audi, you see? It's just exactly the same. But I mean, it really is.
Seriously, is that a new car?
No, it's a
Which
new
one's
car.
the blue one?
This one is the new
5?
one. It's about 75% the size of that one.
Have your mum and dad got a photocopier?
What? Oh. Yes, and it was stuck at 60%.
60?
Yes, all right. Moving on. Thank you.
It's news from Korea. They've made Hyundai's made a new coupe, and I've got the sneaking suspicion the designer sneezed when he got here.
Oh, yes.
I think he may have been allergic to the spaniel in his sandwich.
Maybe his lunch bit his ankle while he was drawing that bit.
No, seriously, if you go to Korea, don't order a cauliflower cheese, because it won't be what you think. Anyway, this is called the Genesis, all right? Which probably means that after a couple of years, the front will leave and Phil Collins will move in there instead.
No, actually, strictly speaking, Phil Collins will come round from the back to take place at the front.
Oh, leaving Chester Thompson at the back?
Yeah, exactly. And then occasionally Phil Collins will have to go back to the back with Chester Thompson.
Yes.
I don't know what you two are saying now.
No, it's got a V6 engine, 3.8 litres, and in between the bank, you've got a 25-minute keyboard solo.
You're using words, but it means nothing.
Would you rather it were called the Hyundai Westlife?
Yeah, all right, thank you.
The Hyundai Girls Aloud Hammond Edition.
All right, thank you.
Good news, Jaguar has found £1 and has decided to spend it tarting up the XK. This is it, it's the XK RS. It's essentially the same, just with different suspension. And it's got a Bluetooth system in it, OK? Now, have you ever connected anything up using Bluetooth?
No.
Has anyone managed to... What did you... What? It is not easy. I was driving this thing on... You're driving it along and it says, do you want to dock your phone to the dashboard? It says, enter the PIN code 1547. So you put 1547, it says, no, that's wrong.
Yeah, but technically, I think in that Jag, it says, do you want to mate your...
It does.
Well, if you're trying to encourage them to mate, I think a box of chocolates and some nice music would work better than a PIN.
No, it is. It's just impossible. Absolutely impossible.
So you're trying to encourage your phone to have sex with the dash?
Yeah.
What is it they do to encourage farm animals to mate? Because they do, don't they?
No, they do. You have to wait for the lady cow to be on heat. Then you put the bull in there.
That's no good. You can't wait for your dashboard to have a period before you make a phone call.
How can you possibly know when your dashboard's having its period?
Because the sat-nav would lose its temper for no reason. I said left! Go! You now do it! Yeah. Applause suddenly. That's what it is. Just one more thing. Did you see the papers this week about Prince Charles running his DB6, his Aston, on wine?
Yes,
Yes.
did.
Why doesn't he use petrol?
It's not like there aren't petrol stations, is it?
It's cheaper and everything.
I don't get it.
What? It's
Well,
a waste.
yes.
I know it's a waste of good wine. Unless, of course, he's nasty wine coming from your engine, sir. Yes, I know, it's the South African.
Yeah.
Now, this guy, okay, he's come down here, crashed through that, and he's spun up there, and he is the luckiest man alive.
What's lucky about that?
Cut to the wide shot.
Whoa! That's the centre of the earth.
I know.
How long ago did that happen?
6 months?
Has he stopped screaming yet? One of those screams where you have to draw a breath. Something bad's happening. Ah! Ah! More screaming.
He's still screaming now, he's sitting at home going, what's on the other side? Ah!
6 months of screaming.
Now, as you know, we get quite a few letters of complaint on Top Gear, and a lot of them are from communists and hippies, obviously, so we just ignore them. Anyway, look, last week, okay, we thought nobody would be watching because that epic tennis match was on, which...
We were all watching.
Which we were watching, yeah. Anyway, it turns out that one person was watching Top Gear, and boy, is he an eagle-eyed chap.
Eagle-eyed chap isn't what you called him when his letter arrived, mate.
No, I called him something smaller and fruitier than that. Nevertheless, he says, okay, he was watching the show and I was driving an Alfa Romeo along the road, and he says, and he hasn't just complained to the BBC, he's complained to the police about this, that I clipped a double white line. Well, here's the footage.
I mean, it's...
That bloke should have been at Wimbledon, actually, with those sort of crossing the white line spotting skills.
Anyway, it does appear I'm bang to rights, and, you know, I think apologies where apologies are necessary. I'm very sorry. I shouldn't have done it. I'm normally very fastidious about that sort of thing, but there we are, a mistake. Good job I'm not a brain surgeon. Do you know every TV show in the world now has a campaign?
No.
They do. Jamie Oliver's going, don't eat chips, eat weeds, and it's Gordon Ramsay's one. You've got to kill your children's pets and eat them. So I've come up with a campaign we should do.
Oh, no.
Road signs.
They're too late, they've already been invented.
No.
Moving on.
No, get rid of them. Get rid of them. Have you seen that? Councils these days, oh, there's a space, we could put one in there. And they just write rubbish. There's one on the M40, if anyone's seen it, it says, spray possible.
Well, it might be.
It was a June day when I went past it. It's spray impossible is what it should have said. If they're going to list things that are possible, they could put being eaten by a cow. Possible. And then, have you seen... In the olden days, okay, you used to be able to have a crash and it was a fairly foregone conclusion you weren't going to hit anything. Now, you're bound to hit a sign saying deer. How do you know there's a deer? How do they know where the deer is?
Why don't they just put the deer sign on the deer, and then it will always be exactly the right
That would work.
Why don't they do that?
There's a very good sign near where I live, actually, that says changed priorities ahead. And it's absolutely right, because I was driving down there the other day and I thought to myself, I'll work harder and pay my mortgage off and be secure in my old age. And then I went past the sign, and after another 10 or 20 yards, I thought, no, I'm going to go to the pub.
So it works.
Yeah.
We introduced a campaign to rid Britain of its signposts, and it seems to have struck a bit of a chord with the country. There's been sent loads and loads of stupid signs that need taking down. One of my favourites is this one. Now, quite apart from the fact that the sign cost 500 quid, how long was the meeting and involving how many people and how many biscuits before they said, no, we can't put 10 miles, people will think we're just making it up?
So what, after 11 miles, are the squirrels just grey again?
It's very precise, isn't it?
It is.
What if one day you got a really brave red squirrel that said, I'm going to go for the 12, cross the back, or he was reaching over for a nut?
Can I show you another really stupid sign? Look at this one. Now, I live in the countryside and I know squirrels don't have antlers.
Well, actually, I have been tossed by a squirrel like that at
I'm
Chatsworth
sorry?
House. I mean, head-butted. No, not tossed. Head-butted. That is the technical expression.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of your clubs offers squirrel tossing.
Yes.
You know the campaign we're having to get rid of stupid, unnecessary signs? Lots of people have been very kindly sending in examples. Check this one out.
If you look for...
If they hadn't put the sign there, he wouldn't have hit anything.
Yeah.
Don't put unnecessary signs at the side of the road, please, stop it. We're doing this to shame the councils that put these things up, OK, without thinking about it. My favourite sign of the week, sent in by a viewer. Here it is.
Bye.
What for?
It's not even true.
I think we've had more signposts sent in this week. You know, we're having this campaign to get rid of unnecessary signposts at the side of the road.
We had one in. Well, imagine if you're driving along thinking these roadworks ahead look really complicated. I hope they put some signs up to simplify it all for me. Well, they have. There you go. That's made it all. Now I know what I'm... What is... What?
My particular favourite from the week is this one. As opposed to what? Gradual gunfire.
Here's mine.
Some bloke nailed that to the post, stood back and said, yes, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Well, it could be in the other direction.
Oh, I see what you mean. So it's like a... Yes.
Now, the Toyota Urban Cruiser. That is the stupidest name I've ever heard of. Because, forgive me if I'm wrong, but isn't an urban cruiser someone who wears a Mac and isn't allowed within 200 yards of a primary school?
They may not have thought that through.
They haven't. I mean, that's not going to work as a school-run car if the police arrest it every time it goes near the gate.
Great news.
What?
The Dacia... They know what it is. The Dacia Sandero has gone on sale in left-hand drive market.
Nice. Are there any mothers here? Yes? Well, Fiat has decided you need patronising. So, they've come up with a limited edition version of the Panda. We've got a picture of it here.
Why is it for mothers?
Because it's called the Panda Mammy. I'm not joking, and they've given it an orange interior and a purple exterior to match Ivarika's veins.
And a really big boot that it's embarrassed about.
Yeah. And its airbags are 2 feet lower down on a normal model. What are they going to do next? A Fiat recently divorced father? The sat-nav that only goes to the zoo.
That's a good idea, actually, because I've got a Fiat Panda and I've also got a very young nephew and a young niece, so they could bring out the Panda Unsuitable Uncle, which has just sort of got a very sharp kitchen knife left lying around. I suppose if you actually wanted to save money, though, you shouldn't buy either of those. You could just buy the Seat Leon.
Yes.
Because that is actually a VW Golf underneath.
Same underneath. Isn't it?
No.
It's the same underneath. And
No.
it's got another version of the same engine, which is actually more powerful, and it costs less than either of them.
You can't buy that because it's a Seat.
Well,
What's wrong with that?
It's Spanish.
What's wrong with that?
I'm bored with Spain at the moment. Fernando Alonso in Formula One, he's the most successful driver there. But he just is, OK? Then you've got Nadal in tennis. They've won the UEFA Championships. They've nicked our airports. They've nicked all our fish. They've nicked all our building societies. They eat the heads off prawns. They throw donkeys off tower blocks. And they stab cows.
so that's Spanish.
That is the Spanish. Anybody from Spain here?
Sorry.
Give me my fish back.